Well, hello. Welcome to another Zero Bros Motovlog. I'm Exzero, and today I am going to tell you about the DRZ 400SM. And say today's episode will be about the pros and cons of riding the DRZ and owning one. My opinion. Not so much of a list lah, you know, I just share with you some of the things where most people share about, because some of the cons can say is up to the person lah, on what's their opinion on it, you know. So to start off, the DRZ, which most people always complain about, the weight. I can say it's a pretty heavy bike if you call it a dirt bike lah, you know. If you want to call it a lightweight venture bike, if you compare to the more bigger CC bikes and stuff. But for dirt bike category, can be quite heavy if you bring it off-road. I've already tried it myself, and can say when it comes to the more difficult to the trails, sometimes the weight could be a bit lighter. So it depends on what kind of riding you do, you know. I think for like normal road riding, the weight is okay lah, you know, as compared to like the if you were to get a bigger CC bike, you know. I haven't really tried all the newer models lah, you know. Got the Honda 450. I think that one also still is a bit lighter. Oh, okay, I think I took a wrong turn. Never mind, we will just cut over this guy, go towards the left. So weight wise for me actually still okay lah for the DRZ, you know. 400cc bike, how light you want it to be, you know. Normal supermoto riding and stuff is still alright for me. So that one, like I said, depends on the rider, the owner and stuff. Now for me, fuel consumption is another story, you know. My bike, the Mac, depends on the how I ride, I can say. If I ride more aggressive, sometimes I once checked, it was about like what, 18-19 km per liter, around there. Not very good lah for a small bike, you know. But depends. If I ride like this, like just normal cruising, relax. Let me just get this corner. On the baring, we relax like right. Don't want it to go so aggressive. If we ride relax, so far I think the max I can get is what, 22 km per liter, right? 23 hardly lah, 22 plus, right? You know, and for like a 9-liter tank, it's not far, you know, actually. Mentioned on a previous video that I even brought the Mac for touring before. Quite troublesome. Needs a bigger tank, because the fuel consumption really killer, man. I think every 150 km like that, have to top up petrol, you know. Keep on having to find petrol station along the way. So this is only like what, stock engine. I showed in the motor showcase that is running the FZR MX, you know. When I changed to the FZR, I'm not so sure lah, not much of a difference in terms of fuel consumption lah. Some say the FCR will improve the fuel consumption, some say it will make it worse. But I guess I'm used to the fuel consumption for a while. So what else that the majority of the DRZ riders tend to say, some say have to change to fuel injected. That one, for me, carburetor still okay lah, you know. For this type of bike, if you want to go all the way to fuel injection, I think the price will be different also. See all this KTM and all this, they like to compare, oh, KTM as fuel injected, then easier for riding, you know, high terrain, all this. But so far I went up to Cameron, Genting, Highlands and all this, quite high terrain also, you know. And they were telling me, oh, you need to change the jetting and all this. So far I can manage lah, go high terrain and stuff, you know. It's actually, for me, I feel that it's better than it's carburetor bike. Maintenance also much easier lah to maintain the carburetor as compared to fuel injected. What else? Let me think. Another common one. They say they need to change to 6 gear. DRZ only 5 gear only. Well, for 400cc bike, I don't know how fast you want to go lah. You want to change all the way to 6 gear. Technically for me, the DRZ can go quite fast already for 5 years, you know. Can go faster, you know. Have plans to check out the ACT wide gear ratio, you know, where technically makes your 5th gear go a bit faster lah. I don't know what the term they call it lah, you know. But the 5th gear is almost to 6th gear, right? But most of the community, they will say, oh, it should change to the DRZ, Suzuki should change DRZ to have at least the 6th gear. I don't think will make much of a difference if have a 6th gear. If you ask me, last time my brother Scorpio used to ride a cup bike, a Spark 135. Only have 4 gears. I can max out 120. Haven't modified it, no. 120 plus cruising. Imagine got some bikes, some of the Spark and all this, they mod it out, can go up to 150 km. Nobody say that need to have 5th gear or 6th gear, you know. It depends on the bike itself. So to me, if you feel like you need to go faster, then upgrade to bigger CC lah, you know. You don't need to stick to the smaller CC if you want it to go faster. I think got lots of different options for supermoto. I mentioned, you see, if you want fuel injected and all these, can go towards the KTM route lah, KTM Husky. But that one, the price, expensive a bit. So speaking of cost, this bike, because it's an old bike, manufactured and never changed since year 2000. Parts wise, easy to get and cheap also. You know, can get, I think, anytime can check online and can find second-hand parts, easy to get in almost all the shops. Over here in the country, they stopped bringing in the bike, sadly. But parts wise, can find anywhere overseas. not only OEM parts, all the stock parts, but aftermarket parts. Wow, that one I open up the websites and all this. So many parts you can change. So you can say this is quite a very versatile bike. You parts wise, there's like the full set of like a Zeta or many other aftermarket brands. So far I've been eyeing on all the Zeta parts. Price wise not so cheap, but all sorts of parts you can get. The whole bike you can actually change. You can change it to like more touring oriented or dirt bike. I have the dirt bike tires for this one, so once in a while I will bring for a bit of trails. Planning to do like maybe touring setup, bigger tank, get a windscreen, and see how it goes. Maybe even this tire also, this wheel, you can say, we changed to a tubeless type for touring. I had a experience where my tire punctured overseas. Then if tubeless a bit easier lah, just use the tire repair, but tube have to change out the whole tube, troublesome. Okay, I better not go off topic so much. So like mentioned, versatility wise, like I said, you can do how you want. You can even see overseas they even stretch the swing arm. All sorts of style you can get. And of course eventually the price to get one, as I said, whole bike. So price wise, if you want to jack up the price, maybe you got lots of parts and all these, then can buy this bike with the COE. So far I see until 2029 can get about 8k 9k already. Very cheap to get. So overall for me, this bike quite worth the money. It depends on your preference. If you want a cheap bike with easy to maintain, and you like mods and all this, then I suggest you get a DRZ. If you want to use for, okay lah, you bring for track day, the Supermoto track day. Even this bike also can bring. Seen people bring, then, but you want like fuel injected, power and all this, you can get the ATMs, ASCII. But that one, like I mentioned, the price can say twice or even 3 times. If you want to get brand new lah, almost 3 times the amount of a DRZ. So overall for me, that's why I ended up with a DRZ. Just cut through these guys and squeeze past. This thing is actually quite big, but for one vehicle only. I've enjoyed my DRZ so far. Planning to do overhaul, redo the whole bike, redesign and rebuild the mech. Cannot wait for that one. Maybe next season I will showcase, put it in a moto showcase, and then you will see the new and improved mech, big mech. Right, so that's so far that's my opinion on the DRZ. Hope you have enjoyed the video. Don't forget to follow, like and subscribe to the channel. Check out the Facebook, Instagram, post more pictures and information about the DRZ. The Mac itself, maybe some of my mods, but they don't know why these guys are late. But here, see the lorry uni turn out. So tune in the next video. I will show you something different from the Mac. Scorpio's bike upcoming next. Brand new bike, that one. So tune in to the next one. Don't know what this guy halfway here. Okay, end this video here. Everyone, ride safe. This is Exzero signing out. Biker boys, biker boys. Nice bike.